Hello everyone, welcome to today's webinar. Today's webinar is From Manual to Marvel, How Automation Unlocks Excellence. In today's webinar, Osama and Bharti will be delivering content based on automation testing and how you can improve your systems. But first, I just want to get into some details about Reply, Portaltech Reply, and so on. So Reply is a global company headquartered in Italy that specializes in consulting across various different services for customers that include CX and digital commerce, artificial intelligence, supply chain management, cybersecurity, design, IoT, and among many others. Reply is a living network of over 130 companies worldwide. Portaltech Reply are one of the companies within this network. So a bit about Portaltech Reply. We're a company within the group, and we're located in London. We specialize in customer experience and customer engagement solutions. We have 25 plus years of experience delivering SAP CX solutions, and we're a gold partner of SAP. We've also received the SAP Pinnacle Award in 2022. Portaltech offers advisory and system integration services to help small, medium, and large businesses. And some of the services that we provide are consulting, implementation, support, migration, and performance and automation. Before I hand over to my speakers, I just want to say if you have any questions for the session, please leave them in the chat or the Q&A panel, whichever you prefer. And also leave feedback after the session. It helps us improve in our future endeavors. So thank you, everyone, and over to my speakers.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Osama Mnemne, and I'm a consultant at Portaltech Reply. So I'm a QA automation lead with over 3 years of experience in the field of software testing, specializing in designing and implementing automation frameworks using tools like Selenium, Cucumber, and Java, with a focus on both web and API testing. And I'm joined here with my colleague.
Hi, everyone. I'm Bharti, consultant here at Portaltech Reply. I'm having a 12-year experience in the field of software development and testing, responsible for development and maintenance of QA test automation framework, making it an integral part of continuous delivery and test-driven development processes to ensure product meets the established quality standards and industry benchmarks.
So what we have for today is we're going to talk about a bunch of different topics on automation testing, starting with intro to automation testing, what automation testing is and the different types of automation testing. We're going to talk a bit of the basics and why we do automation testing and what do we automate and what kind of what's the use of automation testing in our lives, selecting the right automation tools, the impact of automation on the software development lifecycle. We're going to talk a bit about AI and the future of testing. We're going to have a QA session, and we're going to have a small demo in between those slides. So, introduction to automation testing. So in software testing, test automation is the use of software separate from the software being tested, software being tested to control the execution of tests and the comparison of actual outcomes with predicted outcomes. So in a nutshell, you have a certain website or a mobile app or an API that you need to test. You would kind of program a software separate to that website that you're testing, and then you would compare the outcomes based on what you want. So what kind of types of testing that we have? Really, we do have a lot of types of testings and automation testing. I kind of summarized them in three points, which I thought maybe they're inclusive. So we have unit tests, API tests, and UI-driven tests. Of course, we have other types of testing like end-to-end testing, functional testing, performance testing, security testing, and so on. But they kind of fall in with this category, being functional testing or end-to-end testing, falling under UI-driven tests, performance testing being API tests or unit tests. So these are the main 3 points of testing. Why do we automate, and why do we want to automate our testing? So there are key metrics that we measure: cost reduction, repeatability, programmable, reusable, and the quality. So I'm going to touch point on 3 main topics here: quality, time efficiency, and complexity. So automation testing is superior than manual testing in terms of quality, as it avoids human error at all. So where you have human error on manual testing, you would not have that with automation. You would have consistent results every single execution. Time efficiency and reusability is automation testing is really used when you have several regressions that you need to run in your software development lifecycle. If you're a big company that you require testing on multiple phases, automation testing is really what gives the advantage here. And obviously on complexity, because automation testing can cover complex software with lots of features where manual testing cannot even touch base on. So we're moving on to the test automation scope, and I'm going to hand it over to my colleague.
Thank you, Sama. So as my colleague said, like the areas where the automation testing is really helpful, but there are several areas where the automation testing is not very advantageous. So there are areas which are like early development stages. So when we are into the understanding of the requirement or just finalizing the requirement, that time the automation testing is not good to cover it. And like user experience testing, so from like what on website, like what button, what page, what kind of experience user is going to have, it doesn't come into automation testing. So what is ideal in automation testing is once the code is ready, once the code is freezed, and then only automation testing is good to cover the testing part. So like the areas like edge cases where we are not sure, like it is very rare to find out a problem or maybe the issue. So that kind of area, it's not ideal to cover it in automation testing. Like the same thing for the complex changes in the environments. Like some environment, some server, like some having some connections, or maybe some the third party integrations or something. Sometimes it is suitable for one integration but not for others. That kind of if we don't have the decided things for the environment, like what to cover where, it shouldn't come into the automation scope. And then once we are done with understanding like what to cover and where to cover in automation testing, we should also know the tools which we are going to use in automation. So the tools are like which, first of all, the language, where we are going to cover the language. So like integration capabilities, cost considerations also, like in terms of tool selection, we should understand it. And where we are having so many popular tools, like for web, we have Vertiso, we have Selenium, Cypress, and Robot, which are very popular nowadays for automation testing. And we can use the Postman and Rest Assured in API testing. Likewise, we can also use the Appium for mobile testing.
Yeah, very good point. And here's a key matrix that I thought would be helpful into deciding what really automation tool you want to use. So to kick it off with the web, we have Virtuoso, which is really a very polished product for you, ready to use. Think of it as the Apple of automation testing. You have a product where you have everything in one place. You would develop your test there. It's very easy to understand using human language. And also they have kind of like a building block kind of functionality where you don't actually have to code. Where also they host the tests on their own servers. They would run them on their own servers. They are AI enabled. And it's very easy and very fast to have a project from ground up and running. So if you have a small project or a proof of concept that you want to quickly present, or if you want to take advantage of the AI features, then Virtuoso is a really good option. The only disadvantages, I wouldn't say disadvantages, but the customization there is a bit limited as it is a polished product given to you to use. So the customization there is not really the best, as it's also not free, and the pricing depends on company to company basis. Moving on with web, with more products or tools that have a bit of a learning curve, such as Selenium, Cypress, and Robot. And what really differs between them is just the language preference. Selenium supports Java, JavaScript, C#, PHP, Python, Ruby, Kotlin, you name it. Cypress mainly supports JavaScript and TypeScript, where Robot supports Python. They're all highly customized, highly customizable, and they're all free with a really good community support. However, I have to say, Selenium have excellent community support as it's been there, it's proved itself as a staple in the industry. For mobile, we really recommend using Appium, as this is the main testing tool advised to be used for mobile testing. And for API, you have Postman and Rest Assured, whereas they're both really good. And Postman, yes, is a bit easier because you don't need much of a programming skills, but Postman is not fully automation testing. You still have a bit of manual testing there. Rest Assured is fully automation. So I'll leave it up to you guys to kind of decide what the right automation tool for you is. But this is a kind of a matrix on what each tool has. Moving on to the testing strategy. So if we're approaching testing a website or test regression, we kind of have a strategy to tackle this regression. We don't want to go directly to website testing or mobile testing before we test the APIs, because the APIs are being used in the website and the mobile test. So if the API testing fail, you're guaranteed that the UI testing will fail as well. So API acts as a first line of defense, where you do your unit testing and your integration testing. And then once those are fine, you move on, you move over, you go to your web testing and mobile testing, where you do your functional testing, API to web integration testing. Right, so I kind of want to go into the demo, but first I wanted to show you my chosen tool of testing, which is Cucumber paired with Selenium. So Selenium paired with Cucumber. And this is just an overall architecture of how Cucumber and Selenium work together. So just to define, Selenium is a tool where it controls your browser, let's say your Chrome browser. So Selenium controls your Chrome browser, and you tell Selenium what you want to do. So you want to click a button, you want to write something, you want to focus on something or select any element on the web page, Selenium is your tool for that. And then Cucumber is a way to deliver test reports to your clients, reading them in human readable language, in pure English language. And that's called Gherkin. So where you first start with your feature files, where you fully hold all your tests, and that's written in Gherkin. And I will show in the demo later on. And then in the feature files, communicates with step definitions, where each scenario in the feature is made up of several steps, right? And then each step is written so that it will map the human readable language to the Java language. And then once you write your Java, obviously you will speak with your Selenium, and then Selenium will speak with the browser, and then it will go in reverse. Your browser will tell Selenium the result, and then Selenium will tell your program the result in order to assert whatever your outcome is, if it's expected or not. So I'm going to switch over my screen to share my demo. Just give me 1 minute. Then I'm sharing my screen. Right, I'm just gonna give it a couple of minutes before kickstarting. Right, so as I explained, you have feature files, and then inside the feature files, you have scenarios. For example, we have this feature file, which is called search. And what we are going to use is we are going to use Tesco as our subject of testing. And what we're going to do here, we have a scenario called user searches for keyword, which is denoted here. User searches for tissues, user searches for cheese, user searches for milk. And then what the test is saying, given that I land on the Tesco homepage, when I search for this keyword, tissues, cheese, or milk, then I am navigated to a search result page, and the keyword itself is mentioned in the first product. So that's a very simple scenario you would use in your automation testing. And as you can see, it's written in pure English language. You can do whatever you want. And then how this would be paired with is in your step definitions. And in your step definitions, you would define your statement and you would map it to whatever Java you want. So for example, I have my step here, I search for something, and then in my Java, it would be mapped to a function. I called it I search for keyword, and then the parameter would be a string. And then here I will be calling Selenium, and this is just a helpers function. This is just a helpers class that I've created. You would tell your Selenium, find the element with the ID search-input, and then send keys, meaning write, and then write the keyword. So if I'm writing cheese, it would write cheese. And then find element, the search button, and then click. Then we're clicking on the search button. So basically, I search for, what it does is it finds the search input, and then it types on it, and then it clicks on the search button. I'm gonna give a quick demo. And just before that, I just wanna explain that examples is a really nice way to do in Cucumber when you wanna test several iterations of the same scenario. Maybe you wanna check different outcomes and so on. So I'm gonna trigger this scenario, and you can see how fast the automation testing is compared to manual testing. So here it will land on the Tesco homepage, and it will be very fast, but it types tissues, it searches for tissues, and then it does its assertions. Same thing with milk and with cheese, and that's it. Our testing is done. It took a total of 14 seconds approximately, and you can see all of our tests have succeeded. And if we want to have a look at the reports, I'm going to show later. But then I want to show also the API testing. So we saw the web testing, how it connects with Selenium. But now if you want to do some API tests, and here what I did is I'm not testing Tesco because I just had a look at a random public API, which is a fake store API.com, which basically all it does is it gives you dummy products, right? And with API testing is even faster than web testing. So what you do is, let's say here, I get store products for this, and then I want to assert that I get a list of products, right? And then what API testing would do, excuse me, I'm just running the scenario, and then you can see the scenario took less than 2 seconds. So much faster than web. We don't need the web browser for that. It's all APIs. And we're using REST assured to do the API calls. And you can see that here we're printing all the request method, the request URI, and then you would obviously you have your response and then the assertions. A typical report would kind of look like this. So you'd have your search, right? And then we said user gets store products. That's the API test that we did. And then you have 2 iterations where user gets all store products, and then user gets only one store product. And then both are passing, and we can see the steps that worked. And then if something failed, obviously it will show you in red, and it will give you why it failed. It will give you the stack trace of the error. So that's really it for the demo. I'm going to reshare the presentation. Just 1 minute. Yep. Okay. So that's it for the demo. I hope you found it useful. And I'm going to be handing it over to my colleague for the impact of automation testing.
Very useful demo, Sama. So as my colleagues just explained, like how automation testing is very faster in terms of speed and reliability. So it accelerates the test cycles in many ways. Like he said, according to the demo, he was passing some examples in the test scenario. So likewise, the parallel execution of the test cases can be happen in multiple environments, browser, devices, and operating system. We can run the one single script for multiple environment, multiple browsers at the same time with automation. That's called a parallel execution benefit from automation testing. And likewise, we can be very quick to get the response in terms of reports, in terms of analysis. Like if some issues happens in system or testing, so we can identify those things very quickly, and we can inform like it is happening, and it is way faster than the manual testing. So likewise, we have the other important thing in using the test scripts, the reusability. So it's not about like we are doing testing today, and tomorrow if we have the, say, regression testing for the existing things. So we should be having the script once ready, and we can use it multiple times, several environments, browsers, and devices. So it's a one-time effort to write those testing script, like Osama just shown in the demo. So it is very useful in terms of like maintaining the scripts for time-to-time testing for the environment. And it is also accelerates automation testing. It also accelerates the testing when it comes into the CI/CD integrations. So let's say there is some change happened in the code base, and then it triggers the new code in the CI/CD pipeline, and then it detects the issue very quickly if something happens in testing and the test scripts are running, because it detects the code, and if the test cycles are running, and it detects the issue, and it just highlight the problem, and we can identify very faster in terms of automation feedback, and we can get it fixed. So it's a very important way to accelerate the testing of say product or environment. And that's how we can also give the very rapid feedback to the developers, like something CI/CD has detected, and this is the issue, this is happening, and likewise we can inform developers to get it quickly fixed. And automation testing is also gives us the reduction of human errors. So in terms of script, if I say everything is written and is the proof of concept we have written, so every time what we have decided in terms of testing is already written, so it's a very less chances to get the human error to go. Sometimes it happens, it was not tested, but it was tested. So this kind of situation, it will not arrive, because we have already the proof of concept written in once, and we are just executing it multiple times. So it's a reduction of human error also it gives. And like I said, it gives us the consistency and reliability. So once we have the consistency, like we have the in manual testing, it is really important to explore testing, user experience evaluation, and ad hoc testing. Automation offers a clear advantage when it comes to ensuring consistency and reliability across repeated test cycles, large-scale testings, and rapid development cycles. In terms of ROI and cost effectiveness, it is like the automation is generally positive in long term, especially for large and complex projects. By improving the test coverage, accelerating the feedback loops, reducing the manual effort, and enhancing the product quality, automation testing can lead to significant cost saving and increased efficiency also. So that's really important. Long-term saving and benefit over repetitive manual testing. So in automation testing, it's a long-term saving. Like it's in terms of feature files, if we say we are writing it in once and we are just triggering it so many times. So it's a long-term saving, like in terms of time and effort both. So it is a one-time preparation of feature files or a proof of concept for a particular functionality, and we can trigger it so many times to test it, and it really improves the accuracy and increasing the test coverage, and to enable the fast feedback cycles And automation can dramatically improve the both quality of your software and the efficiency of development processes. So these are really important impact on SDLC by this automation testing. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, Bharti. So moving on to the last bit, which is probably what everyone thinks about these days, which is the AI and what AI can do for automation testing, what the future of testing is automation testing going to be replaced with AI, or what's really going to happen? So I've compiled a few points on how AI can complement automation testing, but not replace. AI can never fully replace automation testing. It can definitely help, and it can definitely accelerate in multiple processes. So I'm going to formulate kind of a holistic solution that you guys going to understand what a single AI program or a single AI agent can help me with in different processes of automation testing. Beginning with discovery and formulation. So let's say you have your user stories, which you need to write test cases for, right? And let's say you're using Jira for that. What typically would happen is that your test automation engineer would read those would read that user story, and it will convert it into a functional document in which they can use to write their own scenarios. And this bit can take a bit of time. It can take from a couple of hours to 1 day, maybe a couple of days if the user story is really complex. But really with AI, with a click of a button, it can access that user story. It can read it and meticulously analyze it, and it will write acceptance criteria and functional documents and scenarios at the same time for the developer to kind of proofread or audit the AI. Let's say you have your AI, let's say you have 15 user stories you want to implement. The AI can really help you streamline all this situation from maybe 1 week of discovery to 1 day or maybe a couple of hours of discovery. So that's one area where AI can really shine. It can also help with test automation and maintenance. So what actually AI can do, AI can sit on your servers, managing your tests at the lowest level that you want it to. What AI can do is it can read the errors that are producing from your tests, and it can analyze whether or not these are false negatives or false positives or they're actual bugs or not. AI can raise bugs for you automatically once it sees a bug on the website, for example. It can be integrated to the very core of your test cases, and it can even heal your scenarios. If your scenarios are no longer working for whatever reason, for example, if the CSS selectors are changed, let's say a developer changed the ID of a certain element or so on, instead of your automation test failing, and then you will have to go see the report, see what's failing, seeing that the CSS selector is there, you're going to get the new one, stabilize your scenario, and then retrigger it. AI can skip all of this by self-healing during runtime your tests. So if we kind of see the picture, AI in your servers will be testing your scenarios, and at the same time will be writing your new scenarios. And then obviously with the regression, as I've said, it will see if there's any scenarios that need stabilization and so on. And you can do really you can be very creative with it, where you can tell AI not to directly change. It can give suggestions, and then the developer can choose. But AI can be really integrated into the very core of your solution, and it can be such a time saver and increase the productivity by a long shot. And lastly, Copilot is really the basic thing anyone can start with, not just automation testing, with any other programming languages or any other programming users. It can increase the developer's productivity by at least 10 to 12% from previous experiences. And it can help automation testing in helping the tester or the automation tester get up to speed with the test itself, with the environment itself, with the configurations, with the existing functionalities. The tester can query the AI copilot, for example, to fetch me a function that does a certain thing, or a test or a step that searches for a product, instead of rewriting things that are already duplicates. So in a really holistic overview, you can see the AI taking charge of your automation testing, but not overtaking it. It can complement your automation testing a lot. And that's what I had for our AI. And we can all move over to QA. So in Q&A, sorry. I'm used to quality assurance saying QA. Sorry, I meant Q&A. So if anyone has any questions for us, please feel free to drop your questions.
Yeah, so you can leave them in the chat or in the Q&A panel, whatever you prefer. And whilst we wait for some questions to come in, I just do want to confirm, yeah, this session was recorded, so it will be uploaded to our YouTube channel following the session. Also, again, if you have any feedback for our sessions, please do let us know. We want to continue to improve and deliver great content to you all. And thank you for joining as well. I hope you found the session to be valuable. So yeah, we'll give a few minutes for some Q&A. Oh, we have a raised hand. Let me see if I can allow your mic. But we won't be able to hear you. If you can, just leave your question in the chat and then we can read it out to the speakers. How can we use AI with any specific tools or plugins? Do you have any solutions potentially?
So with the existing AI tools, there are several ways to do it. If we're talking about Copilot, you can use the GitHub Copilot that you can integrate into any IDE that you want, and then that Copilot itself will be conscious of your project, and you can ask it several questions on your own project, and you can tell it to query whatever functions that you need. In terms of discovery formulation, you can create your own agent. Nowadays, there are loads of tools that can help you create your agent. It can be from ChatGPT, it can be from AWS, it can be from Google's, I forgot the name of the Google's AI, but yes, Google Gemini, where you can create your own agent, where you can give it just direct instructions on what this agent is responsible for, and where you can feed it your user stories, or you can use webhooks in Jira if you're using webhooks, or you can hook your agent, and you can control your agent from whatever panel that you have created for that agent to kind of read whatever Jira story that you want. It can kind of read the user stories. It can generate scenarios for you, generate functional requirements. And regarding regression testing and how it can self-heal your scenarios, there are some open source tools out there that uses machine learning. It will basically sit as a wrapper on top of your Chrome driver, or your browser driver, and it will kind of automatically detect if there's something wrong with the script, and it will try to fix it as soon as possible. I hope that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, and in the event that you still have some questions after the session, anyone who's in attendance, you can always reach out to us. So we have direct contacts here at Portaltech. We'd love to have a conversation with you about any specific topics that you may have in mind. But yeah, we'll give a few more minutes for some questions to come in case anyone has any. Yeah, well, whilst we wait, I just want to say thank you both for a great presentation. Very welcome. All right. Well, yeah, I think it seems no more questions are coming in. So from me, I'll say thank you, everyone, and yeah, please make sure to stay tuned to our social channels. This content will be uploaded. We have previous webinars already uploaded on our channel. If you want to see what other topics we cover, we'll continue to deliver webinars as well, so you can stay up to date with our LinkedIn page. Also, yeah, over to speakers.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. And really, if you have any kind of question, feel free to reach out. Here are my email and my colleague's email. Feel free to reach out.
Thank you, everyone, for connecting. We are all available for all the open questions. You can reach out to us anytime for understanding more if you feel like. Thank you.